just like they were dead wrong on the chaos of the campaign, and just like they were dead wrong in the chaos of the transition, they are absolutely dead wrong about what's going on today, because we have a team that's just grinding it through on what President Donald Trump promised the American people. And the mainstream media better understand something. All of those promises are going to be implemented.
That's awesome. It's been a...
All right, well, that was a very feisty chief strategist, Steve Bannon, speaking just moments ago at CPAC in Maryland. Look who's joining us now. Rich Lowry, editor of the National Review and a Fox News contributor, and Bernard Whitman, former Bill Clinton pollster and CEO of Whitman Insight Strategies. Rich, you're on set. I'll start with you first. Interesting moment for this administration to put Steve Bannon forward. We have not heard much from him as far as speaking publicly. He had a lot to say there.
Yeah, so this was a much anticipated session. One, because there's been all this talk about tensions between Preibus and Bannon and others within the White House. Two, because we never hear from Steve Bannon. He talks to reporters a lot, but off the record, not on the record, and certainly not for the camera. So this is, you know, kind of his national coming out here.
So the mystery was there and captivated all of us.
And, you know, it's interesting, you know, as a kumbaya moment, as Matt Schlapp said, but you see the differences in emphasis between the two, Preibus and Bannon, where Bannon talked about the corporatist and globalist media, made the case that it's nationalism that unites all the strands on the right. And those are terms in which Preibus never speaks, and I don't think really thinks.
Bernard, I'll bring you in here. It was sort of a kumbaya moment for the two of them, where there was some speculation out there, and they said it was constructed by the media, that they didn't get along and they butted heads, but they said, hey, we share an office suite. We work 6:30 a.m. to 11 p.m., and we're busy guys. What did you make of what you heard?
Well, you know, I think it's all well and good to hear the lovey-dovey that's going on in the West Wing, but if I'm a conservative out in the hinterland, if I voted for Donald Trump, here's what I'd like to hear. When are you actually going to have a plan to repeal Obamacare and replace it with something else? When are you actually going to put forward a plan for corporate tax reform? When are you going to actually fill all of those administration posts so your government can actually govern? I didn't hear anything about that, and I think if I'm a conservative, I'm pretty frustrated that my president's approval rating is 38, 39% in all the latest polls, and that the people are going all around the country protesting at every time a member of Congress shows up. I mean, the only good thing that Donald Trump can actually say about his approval ratings are they're actually a little better than the Republican-held Congress. So if I were a Republican, I'd actually think that they need to get on with the business of governing and maybe get out of each other's arms.
I think Steve Bannon made that very clear, that we are fighting for you, he said on that stage, and we're going to have to stick together, was his message. Rich?
Yeah, well, where I agree with Bernard, and I wrote a column about this today in Politico, is Capitol Hill, the wheels are turning, but slowly, and they're churning on these two big, complex, hugely important agenda items: repealing and replacing Obamacare and tax reform. And Capitol Hill does need more guidance from President Trump. It needs to hear in detail what he wants on both of those. And we may hear some of that next week in his speech to the Joint Address.
And Rich, something I wanted to come back to you on, because I kind of joked with you at the commercial. I said, where are you at with the president? We know where you once were.
Yes.
And you said on a scale of 1 to 10, you are where?
Maybe about a 5, you know, very transactional. We've praised him when he's done good things. Gorsuch was a home run, but we've expressed concerns about others, you know, things he said about Russia we're not particularly happy about. So we're going to call balls and strikes.
Okay.